So, ARK2, the game that was supposed to be the honored successor of ARK Survival Evolved, has been kept in a silent corner for the longest time. No mention from the devs, just that the focus of the developers has been put indefinitely onto ARK Survival Ascended. So will ARK2 still be a thing? Maybe. In the past few months, the news around ARK have been spread thinly to the point where I even had problems to make a story for you, as trying to get a single tweet into an 8-minute video is really hard, and I hate to speculate things that have never been said or were not even hinted towards. In the past week, ARK2 was in the talks more often. Once because the Microsoft Xbox account mentioned to have a playable version of ARK2 at Gamescom. After tweeting it, their marketing lead that mention disappeared immediately. But it is also the latest somewhat proof that there is an ARK2 somewhere, maybe, eventually. In the layoffs a few weeks ago, developers who were hired for ARK2 specifically, or developers who were moved to ARK2 development, have been laid off. There had also been a big shift in positions the people work in the studio. Grove Street Games, who was working on the Switch adaptation for ARK Survival Evolved, is now more involved in the mobile app remake and the main game development, probably for the community maps, while the community maps for the Switch were actually cancelled without any further notice. Only Ragnarok made it to the Switch in the end. And this is also what we expect for the mobile app. To me, all those points look like there have been big cuts to the development, or to ARK in general, and that the company has spread their development efforts so wide in so many directions that they couldn't keep up with their own set timelines, which would have been more realistic with the full team working on one project at a time. It also looks like that most of these projects are experiments to see which will be a viable income source, and if it isn't, like in this case with the Switch, it will be dropped for the next best thing. The mobile remake, for example. The fact that they're being short-staffed and overworked showed during the center development, when the outsourced development of the map didn't match Wildcard's quality expectations and they had to pull the core team away from what I assume would have been the Aberration development and fix the center instead, ultimately leading to Aberration being pushed further back as well. And with all this happening, there's also supposed to be ARK2 in development, and almost finished? Honestly, I don't know. I don't think so. On top, the only changes done to the Steam page were changing the release date from 2023 to soon to be announced. But how do we feel about ARK2, a potential story-driven Souls-like combat third-person game? I for myself have stated several times that all of that sounded like a nightmare to me. I need to correct myself into this opinion though, because after playing Soul Mask, which has third-person Souls-like combat, even though it's not really story-driven, I can see myself enjoying it if it's done right. And maybe after ASA becoming what it is at the moment, I might even see myself enjoying a more lore-driven serious title in the ARK universe. But even with all of the observations I made, there could still be an active development and people are just very good at being silent about it and not drop anything anywhere. Even though at this point I wish there would be more than just assumptions and reading between the lines of cryptic tweets. So what's up with ARK2? We don't really know. It might come, it might not.